First, thank you for stopping by, and as always, I hope this video finds you well. If you're new here, my name is JC, and this is the 𝐶𝐮𝐬𝐚 DIY channel. If you follow the channel, you probably have noticed that I've been away, actually for about 4 weeks now. My birthday is the last week of August. My wife is the first week of September. We were out on trips. We went out to the East Coast, went down to Miami. I have some video relating to the visit in Miami. And then Hurricane Ian happened, and we've been without power, without internet for about 2 weeks, but things are getting back to normal little by little. So during the storm, the days before the storm, my phone has been lighting up, my social media feed, people asking me all kinds of questions in regards to hurricane preparation. I pray to God that we don't get another storm as nasty as this. But if you live anywhere in the Gulf Coast or even in the Atlantic, all the way up to Carolinas, the possibility of a hurricane or at least a tropical storm are always there. When this happens, we're going to have power loss. Internet's going to be iffy. Cellular phone towers are going to get banged up, and all of this kind of things eventually will come back online. But in the meantime, we have to be able to get by and survive until services are restored. So I have a list of questions that got constantly asked, and I wanted to make a quick video in regards to preparing for a tropical storm or even a hurricane. Check this out. The number one question that I got asked during Ian was, should I evacuate? First, it's all relevant to what point you decide to make this decision. If you're going to evacuate, you should do that within 24 hours of landfall. If the storm is about to make landfall, or you're within 6 hours, 8 hours, probably it'd be better if you just sit tight and weather out the storm. Who should evacuate? I think that anybody who is physically unable to lift their own body weight on a deadlift should evacuate. Anybody who has any kind of medical condition, or anybody who needs medicine on a consistent basis, things of that nature should evacuate. At the end of the day, understand that once winds hit 40 miles an hour, there's going to be no one there to come and get you. And this is a case that there were several calls made to 911 in the Fort Myers Beach area, but in the middle of a storm with 150-mile winds, ain't nobody coming out there to get you. So it's always a good, preventative measure that if you're unsure, if you are not sure of your capabilities, if you're going to be able to deal with what you might be facing, it's always better to evacuate. The number two question that I got asked was about refrigerators. Can my refrigerator run on a generator? What settings for the refrigerator, etc. The first thing I will recommend is go to your temperature settings on your refrigerator. And normally, at least on my fridge, it's recommended to be running on number 3. During the storm, I will bring this up to a 5 or a 6, at least 24 hours before the storm. The other question in regards to refrigerator having to do if it can run on a generator. Well, to decide this, the first thing you need to do is figure out what is the consumption of your refrigerator. You need to go into the unit and look for a UL label. It's normally inside the refrigerator section on either left or right wall, depending on the manufacturer. In here, you're going to have a amperage rating or wattage rating and a voltage rating. In the event that you have an amperage rating, you're going to multiply the amperage times the voltage. That will give you how many watts your unit needs. As you can see from the math, my refrigerator only requires about 1,000 watts to run. That means that a small 2100 watt generator will do the trick. The third most common questions when it comes to storm preparation, hurricane storm preparation, was about generators. What type should I buy? How big should I buy it? etc., etc. Well, all of this is relevant to the size of your house, your demand for power. Know that you are not going to run your washing machine. Perhaps you can run the washing machine, but not the dryer. You're not going to run your AC unit. You're not going to run your water heater from a generator. With that said, it is always best, or I prefer, to have multiple small units than one large one. Number one, smaller units are substantially quieter, and having multiple units not only gives you redundancy, that if one of them fails, you're going to have a backup, but it also allows you to manage fuel, which can be, quite problematic if the power goes out, as it did with Ian. As Ian approached the coast, a lot of people started calling me asking if I had oil. Apparently, a lot of my friends purchased generators the last minute, and they did not buy any oil, or the store where they purchased the generators, such as BJ's, didn't have oil on hand. It is important to know that these small engines don't come with any oil, and that is something you need to provide or purchase separately. It is also important to buy the proper type of oil. Always check the box or the owner's manual for what type of oil is recommended, but more than likely it is going to be a standard oil and not synthetic as what you will use on your vehicle. Not only is it important of the grade, but also the type. Synthetic oil in most small engines will cause the seals to fail prematurely. In an event of an emergency, you can always use it, but it's highly recommended that you purge the system out as soon as possible. Something else to keep in mind is that all of these small engines require a 20 to 25 hour of operation service. That is the break-in period. So it is not advisable that you buy this at the last minute, plug it up, and expect it to work like a champ, especially if you intend to keep the unit. This is the problem with buying units from Facebook Marketplace the day after the storm, because a lot of those generators have been running for an entire week without an oil change and without a service. The best thing to do is to prepare yourself ahead of hurricane season, run your generator for 20 to 24 hours, make an oil change or an oil service, and then go ahead and leave it prepared and ready for the storm. Last but not least, let's talk about gas. I strongly recommend that if you're buying a consumer grade generator, that you buy a gas powered one. There are some units out there which are dual fuel, and that sounds very attractive. Dual fuel meaning propane and gasoline, but in my experience, they are not very efficient when operating on propane. Unlike commercial units, I have personally used commercial compressors and generators. They run pretty equal. The amount of hours, it's pretty equal, and sometimes it's even better, but that is not the case for consumer units. As far as fuel is concerned, I strongly recommend that you run a non-ethanol fuel. Almost every small engine I have ever had an issue with has had to do with it running on ethanol. Ethanol is an alcohol. It attracts humidity and it corrodes your entire fuel system, whether it's carbureted or fuel injected. With that said, we have had several accidents, several fires, and I am not sure if it was a fatality, but I know that somebody got injured pretty bad on a generator fire, and that having to do with trying to fuel the unit while it's running. Please turn this thing off before you start fueling it. Understand that in the front, where the controls are, where the input is, there's a generator there, which is basically nothing but a motor that's being spun by a gas engine. When you spin that, the brushes are going to spark, and if you get if you drop fuel into that area, it could explode in your face. The same thing goes for the rear, where we have a hot exhaust. We also have a magneto ignition that can ignite gas if you were to pour gas on it. As far as gas cans are concerned, this one is being sold at both Lowe's and Home Depot, and is, in my opinion, one that should be avoided. This is probably the worst design I have ever seen. It is called a dual action, and it's sold as something majestical, but I actually think it's very poorly designed and built. Actually, if it was better quality, perhaps it would work better. but it is not. And it works by you having to push this lever up and then the entire thing forward in order for the gas to run, to flow. However, it takes a lot. I have a pretty decent grip. It takes quite a bit of effort to do this, and I find that seniors and women have an issue with that. I strongly recommend avoiding this. In fact, I've seen people the day I just saw one on Facebook. A guy had like 10 of them, selling them for $10 a piece. One of the worst gas cans to avoid. This one is, although it's half the capacity, they are the same price. And I believe that this one is a knockoff of this one, but this one is patented. And perhaps, you know, that's why the flaw, they're trying to get around it, but it doesn't quite work the same way. This one is a single action. It's the same thing when you push this button. But the quality of manufacturing, the way this works, is very easy to operate, and it actually works. This is what this is mine. I own this one. However, for the generator, I do use race cans, which I strongly recommend. I'm using the ones from 𝐶𝐚 𝐄𝐯𝐚𝐭. This is what they look like. Those have a valve at the top, and you can just put it on top of a chair or a table, lean them over. The hose is flexible. So you can lean them over, open the valve, and you're good to go. I have never had any problems with leakage or anything like that. In fact, those gas cans are made to higher standard than anything you'll find at a big box store. All right, that's pretty much for this video. If you have any suggestions or any other topics you want me to cover, please leave me a comment below. And as my friend Superfast Matt says, there was a time when all we had to do is create a quality video. But nowadays, it's all about impressing the algorithms. So do me a favor, click like, share, subscribe, do something. Let the algorithms know that this is content that other people perhaps should be watching. I thank you for stopping by, and if you watched this long, I really appreciate it. I'll see you next week with a new video. Please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you.